In back segment tonight, President Obama's final press conference this afternoon. As usual, the president was philosophical, very deliberate in what he says. It was not a fast-paced experience. One of the few news-breaking questions was on Democratic congresspeople who are boycotting the inauguration.
With respect to the inauguration, I'm not going to comment on those issues. All I know is I'm going to be there. So is Michelle. And I have been checking the weather, and I'm heartened by the fact that it won't be as cold as my first inauguration, because that was cold.
So the president dodged on his way out the door. Here now to analyze for Geraldo Rivera and Eric Bolling. I was disappointing to me. You know, I think the president had an opportunity there to say, you know what, this is a real important day for America. It has been since George Washington handed power to John Adams. And I disagree with my colleagues in the party.
In the House, yeah, the smooth transition of power, yeah, that was a great opportunity, but he chose not to. It's worth noting that all of them are House members. None of the Senate has done this. Remember, people who are elected to office represent both parties. They don't just represent the people who voted for them. Districts put 700,000 per district. There's got to be a good percentage of
let's keep it on President Obama.
Okay, so he's going to walk out of that office as the least effective president in modern history.
Let's not. Let's
1,227
keep it on
bills
him and this dodge. What do you say?
I disagree with both of you. I think that the president's appearance there, along with the First Lady, just as Hillary Clinton's appearance, along with her husband, the former President Bill Clinton, that's enough to signal to the nation, to the world, that there is a peaceful transition of power.
But he had a chance to reinforce.
Both sides could have reached out to each other and compromised.
I don't care about reaching out. Just like it. Why did the man not take the opportunity to promote what is a proud day in American history? Why?
He speaks for himself, the president, the 44th president of the United States. He will be there. He has done everything in his power to make a smooth transition. He has confirmed the peaceful transition as enshrined in the Constitution. To ask him to do more is to be pardoned.
He dodged it because he's going to be one of them. He's going to be one of those people who are boycotting the inauguration in 48 hours or 44 hours from now. He's going to say, look, I'm one of you now. I'm the one who voted.
That to me is extremely disappointing. But you have to recognize the president has a different role than commentators.
Listen, you said that to say anything else is partisan. I disagree. Barack Obama is a leader in this country and will remain such, all right, even after he leaves the White House.
He's only 55.
He's a leader. Okay? He dodged a question that he should not have dodged. And Winston Churchill would not have dodged that question.
I'm not so sure about that. I've seen Winston Churchill on the floor of the House.
He had to make a decision. He had to pick a side.
That was another example of poor leadership. Now, there is controversy about President Obama staying in Washington. Some people feel he might set a shadow government up and undermine Donald Trump. He was asked about today, will he speak out about issues? Roll it.
Efforts to round up kids who have grown up here and for all practical purposes are American kids and send them someplace else. When they love this country, the notion that we would just arbitrarily or because of politics punish those kids when they didn't do anything wrong themselves, I think would be something that would merit me speaking out.
Now, nobody thinks it's going to happen. Nobody thinks there's going to be any roundup of the so-called dreamers. George W. Bush never said anything about Obama. I mean, never. I can't remember. Can you guys remember any kind of criticism that he lodged? And you know there were some things that President Obama did that were, you know, driving him crazy. Dick Cheney, the vice president, he did say a few times, particularly on foreign aid. Now, is it legitimate for a former president, now living just a few blocks away from the White House, to weigh in on something like that?
Since the election, but particularly in the last couple of weeks, I have gone out of my way to show the president-elect, the 45th President of the United States, that I support him without reservation. I have embraced him. I have publicly stated that, you know, I want to give Donald Trump a chance to be a great president, because if he's a great president, then the country prospers. But if my friend, with whom I spent a nice time last week, were to begin a deportation force to round up
You
those
would
children,
speak out as a commentator.
it is. I would have a
But
hunger
you're not a
strike outside
president.
Trump Tower.
You're not a former president. There's a difference
There are
in
some
status.
things when the 60-odd troublemakers in the House, and they don't represent multifaceted districts. Those are all safe districts. Those are districts where they'll get elected forever and ever. When they make a political stand, that's politics. But when you start deporting essentially American children who happen to
So
be
you would be
born
okay
overseas,
with President Obama stepping up then and criticizing?
in that particular
Would you?
instance,
Well,
I
no,
am relieved by it.
but you see what we're doing here. We're talking about what's the post-president Obama, what's he going to do post-presidency? He's said it. He's said as much as he will be back to organizing again. And what he can do now is he can go after the base. He can get the pure leftist ideologues. Geraldo, Donald Trump backed off his deportation force. He said he's not going to do that.
Yeah, nobody
Unequivocally.
expects
no,
him to do
and
that.
so to even bring that up tells you
but I mean,
from
look,
your
they
lips to
asked
the
him-
president-elect's
They
ear.
asked him what
But he, you know what he could have
circumstances,
done,
and I
Bill?
think that was
he could have done
illegitimate.
what you do when you don't like the answer. When you, as you call it, pedestrian commentary comes out, you dismiss it immediately. President Obama didn't dismiss it immediately. Geraldo didn't dismiss it. Both of you talked about a deportation force when we know Donald Trump is not.
Well,
intending
You
to do that.
minimize
No
the
one
real
does that.
fear. These children live in terror right now, Eric.
But he
And even
said
you
that's
can
not
have a
going to
soul
be the
for
case.
these children,
All right.
teenagers who've been here forever.
So, generally speaking, it would be a bad thing if Barack Obama set up a shadow government. You agree with that?
I agree, and I doubt it will happen.
And you agree?
I don't think it should have the government. It'll be certainly a massive movement, organic movement of Obama
Yeah.
think-alike.
Here's the organic movement, okay? He's going to go out and give speeches for $250,000
At least,
pop,
I hope.
all right? And he doesn't care who's in there, as long as you get the $250,000, all right? You're going to write a book, and the book is going to be Why I'm the Greatest President Ever, all right? And I may co-write it with him. That's a joke. And then he's going to do some teaching. He'll associate himself with Harvard or one of those.
You know what else he'll do is he'll raise $8 gazillion in some sort of foundation that will make the Clinton Foundation look like
Well, that'd
small-
be interesting
small
if he
potatoes.
opens a foundation. I don't think he's going to do that.
I
Gentlemen,
don't
thanks very
buy
much.
that.
We